village that N and O called home was not rich in material wealth, but rich in community and love. The sounds of village life echoed through the hills. The murmur of people working in their gardens, children playing by the river, and the soft hum of farmers plowing their fields. People lived simply, but there was always enough to go around. It was a peaceful existence where love and hard work made up for any lack of riches. And the village's trusted hairdresser worked diligently every day. Her hands were skilled in creating beauty, and she had a reputation for not only making her clients look good, but for making them feel good about themselves. The way she styled their hair was as much about the love and care she put into it as it was about the finished product. Her husband, O, was a kind and hard-working driver, a man whose character matched the peaceful nature of the village. Together, they made a simple life, but one full of warmth. It wasn't about wealth or material things for them. It was about their love for each other, the way they treated each other, and the hopes they held for their future. Their future was about to become a reality when they discovered that Anne was pregnant. The day Anne found out she was pregnant was a moment she would remember forever. It wasn't just the joy of becoming a mother, it was the feeling of life moving in a new direction, a direction they had both dreamed of. When N shared the news with O, he was overwhelmed with joy. "We're going to be parents," he shouted in excitement. His eyes sparkled with love as he kissed her forehead. N smiled, feeling the weight of the future ahead of them, a future full of possibilities. It was early in their marriage, but they had already been planning their family. They had always hoped for a daughter first, and the dream of becoming parents had now come true. Anne felt her love for O deepen as she saw how he stepped into his new role. He became a rock during this time, caring for her in ways she never imagined. He was attentive, always making sure she had what she needed, and even cooking her meals, something he had never done before. As the months passed and Anne's pregnancy grew more visible, the couple couldn't help but feel a deeper sense of joy. Prepared their home for the baby, cleaning, painting, and buying all the necessities. Their hearts raced with excitement as they waited for their little one to arrive. Their dream was close to becoming a reality. On the night of Anne's labor, O couldn't sleep a wink. He paced the floor, unable to contain his excitement and anxiety. He rushed Anne to the hospital, the weight of the moment finally hitting him. The pain of seeing her in labor was nothing compared to the joy of holding their baby in his arms. The labor was long, but when the doctor finally came out, his face filled with joy. "Congratulations, Mr. O. You're a father. You have a beautiful baby girl." The joy in O's voice echoed as he looked at N, both of them overwhelmed with happiness. But as they celebrated, the doctor's face became somber. "Mr. O, there's something else. N is carrying a second baby. We need to do surgery immediately," the doctor said. O froze, confused. He never imagined there was a second baby. But there was no time to process it. The surgery was necessary for N's safety. O's heart sank. How could this be? Why didn't they know sooner? The time that followed felt like an eternity. Every minute that passed, without N by his side, felt like a piece of him was being ripped away. He kept praying, hoping that everything would be all right. His mind raced, thinking about their plans, their dreams of raising a family together. How could he go on without her? The doctor returned with a grim expression. "Mr. O," he said, his voice filled with sorrow, "I'm afraid we couldn't save her. Anne didn't make it. We did everything we could, but it was too late." O stood there, numb. The world seemed to collapse around him. The woman he had loved, the woman who had been his heart and soul, was gone. And in that moment, the second baby, Anne, felt like an unbearable burden, a reminder of everything he had lost. After Anne's death, O's grief consumed him. His heart hardened, and he couldn't bring himself to care for the second baby, Anne. She was a reminder of his loss, a child that had taken his wife away from him. He couldn't look at her without feeling bitterness. The nurses, unsure of what to do, returned Anne to O's home, but O refused to acknowledge her. He saw her as the reason for his pain and loss. He rejected her, naming her Anne, meaning the unexpected. He told himself that he didn't want her. She killed my wife, he thought bitterly. Anne's childhood was filled with loneliness and neglect. Her father never showed her any affection, not like he did with Oya. O would lavish Oya with gifts and praise, while Anne was left to clean, cook, and take care of the household. Anne did everything she could to get O's attention, but no matter what she did, it was never enough. She would try to impress him with her good behavior, with her hard work, but O always ignored her, never acknowledging her presence unless it was to criticize her. It became clear to Anne that her father's love would always be reserved for Oya. Despite everything, Anne held on to a flicker of hope deep within her. At night, when the house was quiet, Anne would write in her journal. It was her only escape. She dreamed of becoming a business consultant, of owning her own businesses, of being respected and valued for her intellect and hard work. These dreams kept her going, even when everything around her seemed dark and hopeless. She knew she was capable of more, but it felt like the world was against her. One day, after another cruel comment from her father, Anne reached her breaking point. She could no longer bear the weight of her existence. She packed a small bag and silently walked out of the house, not knowing where she was going, but knowing she couldn't stay in that house any longer. Her heart was full of sorrow, but also full of a new burning determination. I'm going to make my own way, Anne whispered to herself. I'll find my own path, no matter what. As she walked away from everything she had known, a sense of freedom began to take root in her heart. She was leaving behind the pain, the rejection, and the heartache. She was taking control of her life. Finally, just as Anne began to lose hope, a car stopped beside her on the road. The window rolled down, and a man's voice called out gently, Are you all right? It's not safe out here at this time. Anne looked up, startled, her heart pounding. The man, Emma, was well dressed, his face kind and concerned. Please, let me help you. It's dangerous to be out here alone. His voice was warm and reassuring. Anne hesitated for a moment, but something in his eyes told her she could trust him. My name is Emma. I don't know where you're going, but I can take you to safety, he continued, his voice gentle but insistent. She finally agreed. She had nowhere else to go, and for the first time someone seemed to care. She went with him, trusting the journey ahead, and after a few months, they found themselves standing side by side, exchanging vows. They married in a simple yet beautiful ceremony, surrounded by loved ones. From that day forward, they built a life together filled with laughter, love, and countless memories. And they lived happily ever after, cherishing every moment of their shared story. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button.